everything on the rear is done, the rear brake and everything, so this big rear panel can go back on. These screws were stuck pretty bad, that's why I'm going to put some grease down there on the thread. And some on the screws. Because this tank is pretty bad, I got another used one. I want to show you how to replace that lock. Yeah, that lock. You see all the screws around, but here you see that only 4 screws actually hold the thing. So we only remove those 4 screws. And then, if it's open, you can remove the whole thing. To mount that tank lock is as easy as this mounting. Just remove the tape. Then we open the tank lock and just put it in. But in the right direction. Okay, we gotta turn it this way. That's how it's going in. And when it's in the right position, just mount these screws. Let's mount the tank. And now it's just being pushed to the front and bolted down on the back. And underneath here on the right side is the plug for the fuel sensor, for the fuel level sensor. It's this one. Just push it in. Push this one down. And ready we are. One of the last things on this project is mounting those chrome looking side panels. On these bolts the rubber goes underneath. Just like that, and all this goes in. And then those plastic things follow. Okay, push it all the way in first, then tighten the screw, but it's only plastic. Next is the handle for the fuel valve. I used to put the screw in first, and you can't mount it wrong because it's a shape in shape, so there's only one position for it. Just tighten down the screw and then you're done. Let's fill in fuel and see if that fuel level sensor works correctly. Now let's see. I hope that this needle moves at all. It's not moving at all. Maybe there's actually not enough fuel in there. It's only a few liters, but it should move. Okay. And now if you don't know what this prime mode is for, now the carburetors are nearly empty. So if I start the bike, I will know it will take forever to start because the carburetors need to fill up first. And now I can set this valve to prime and it will prime the carburetors. And when this is done, the engine should start. Okay, I think I need more fuel. For some reason now with the tank on, the engine was running like shit. And that's really strange because I only mounted the tank and before it was good. But I figured out, look at that. That's the fuel line from the tank to the carburetors. Oh, sorry. You may see it. Look at that. No fuel going through this hose anymore. That's for sure. So I got to shorten it a little bit. And then it's good. I'm gonna try that much shorter. And try again. It's still too long. You can see it, but it's, how do I say, it's knocked over. I used a new hose. Maybe it's the wrong one, but I'm gonna fix that. I think I figured out what the problem is. This hose is supposed to go that way and make a big curve. Now it's gonna go like this. So I'm gonna change it. I think that's how it's supposed to be. Go all the way around like this and we are fine. Yep, that's definitely how it's supposed to be. The curve is much bigger, radius, what to say, I don't know. And actually fuel goes through the fuel hose. Pretty good. The very last things to do on this Bandit are changing the clutch fluid that activates this clutch piston or cylinder, whatever, and changing the front brake system brake fluid. But this one gets brake fluid as well, and changing the fluid is exactly the same like flushing a brake system, with only one difference. Here we got this point of pressure, and on the clutch we don't have that, but the process is all the same. I will show you. We open that reservoir. Holy crap, this is old brake fluid. There are even pieces in there. I used to empty the reservoir with a syringe. I really don't know what these pieces are. They're definitely not supposed to be there. Now it's as clean as it gets. Most important is that those holes down there, these holes are free, because that's where the fluid goes from the reservoir to the system. The new brake fluid goes in. Fill it all the way up because we just want to flush it now. And we will level it to the right level later on. We want to mount that hose with the container on the nipple, on this one. And make sure that the hose goes up first. That's pretty important. So the fluid and the air bubbles go up, not down. And we need an 8mm wrench. Now we want to pull the lever to a point of pressure somewhere here. Small point of pressure, it's not much. Then we want to open the bleeding nipple. It's not going easy. And see that fluid comes through. I just fixed that hose a little bit so it's not going nowhere. And now we proceed these steps until this fluid is all exchanged. Now I see only fresh fluid coming through, and the last step is to pump until the fluid in the reservoir is on the right level. And that's where I want it, in the middle of this plastic or this see-through gauge. Now from this side, somewhere in the middle, and then it's good. Don't over tighten this. I don't know the torque for it, but it's not much. If you over tighten, you destroy the nipple. It's not the best bias. The last step is to mount these caps. Oh, that was fast. And of course check that there's a good point of pressure and feels like the clutch is operating, but I will test that when I do the test ride. Next we'll be changing the brake fluid on the front brake, and it's all the same. There's just one difference. We got two brake calipers and of course two bleeding nipples. It's one on this side and one on that side. This is the nipple. But the changing process is all the same. The fluid is as dark and looks as bad, but there's no harsh stuff in that. That's good. And you know what came in? This crappy pocket bike. I found it in a barn, but there will be separate videos about this. I want to fix that hose again with a zip tie, and here's a small quick tip from me. If you cut the zip tie on the right side, you can reuse it actually. See this? And again, you can see it, but only fresh fluid comes out. We're done on this side. It's all the same on the right caliper. Open this, mount the hose, forget that 8mm key again, remove the hose, mount the key, and mount that hose. Now we flush the system and go to half of the reservoir in the end again. Only fresh fluid came out, and we end the process right here at half of the gauge. This was the very last thing to do on the Bandit. When the weather is better, I'm gonna do a test ride, and I really hope that it drives just well. If not, more videos about the Bandit are gonna come. And for more videos like this on other bikes, subscribe and like the video.